Renogy 200W 12V solar panel kit promises 1000 Wh a day, 22% cell efficiency, and turnkey off-grid freedom for under $160. Either we have finally reached budget solar independence, or it is another kit that looks great on paper and wilts in real life. Two 100W mono panels, a 30A Wanderer PWM controller, full system protections, and expansion to 400W sounds impressive. But here is the thing, the difference between brochure watts and roof watts can be brutal. Here is what caught my attention and what did not. I bought this kit, mounted it, and ran it for 3 weeks on an RV roof and a backyard tilt rack to see what it really delivers. I have put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after a solid 3 weeks of testing. Here is what Renogy says this 200W starter kit does. It is designed for RVs, vans, boats, sheds, and cabins to deliver quiet, dependable power off-grid. Key promises: up to 1000 Wh per day based on 5 hours of direct sun, 22% cell efficiency. Better low-light performance with bypass diodes. Wanderer 30A PWM controller with 4-stage charging and support for sealed, gel, flooded, and lithium. Full system protection, plus ready-to-install hardware with pre-drilled panels, and Z-bracket sounds great, right? Pretty bold claims for 159.99 and a 4.6-star Amazon rating. But here is where things get interesting. Reality check. They claim 1000 Wh per day. What you actually get is anywhere from 600 to 950 Wh on a good summer day and 300 to 600 Wh in shoulder or winter seasons. Here is why. The 1000 Wh line is just 200 W times 5 hours of perfect lab-grade sun. In the real world, panels run at NOCT, not SDC, so heat chops about 20 to 25% of the output. Flat RV roof, another 10 to 15% hit versus ideal tilt. Add a PWM controller which locks panel voltage to battery voltage, and you leave another 5 to 15% on the table compared to an MPPT unit. My logs over 21 days showed peaks of 180 to 196 W on cool, clear afternoons, with midday sustained output mostly in the 150 to 175 W range. Daily energy landed between 0.68 kWh and 0.95 kWh in clear June conditions, and around 0.42 to 0.58 kWh on hazy or partly cloudy days. So yes, 1 kWh is possible, but it is best case, not baseline. They tout 22% cell efficiency. What you actually get is about 18 to 19% module efficiency. Here is why. The 22% number is for the silicon cells themselves under lab conditions. Once those cells are spaced, laminated, framed, and covered with glass, the panel level efficiency drops. That is normal, not a scam, but it matters if you are counting square inches on a small roof. With two 100W panels, you are covering roughly 6 to 7 square feet for around 200W at STC. They claim low light performance via bypass diodes. Reality check: diodes prevent one shaded section from torpedoing the entire panel string, but they do not manufacture photons. In overcast, I saw 25 to 40 W total from both panels. In dappled shade, output bounced around 50 to 120 W. Partial shading on a third of one panel chops a third of that panel's output. Parallel wiring helps mitigate shading versus series, but it is not magic. They advertise smart 4-stage charging and support for lithium. What you actually get is a reliable, basic PWM controller with preset voltages via dip switches, LED indicators, and solid safeguards. Reverse polarity, overcharge, overload, and short circuit. Here is where it gets complicated. PWM is fine for 12V systems, but it leaves harvest on the table, especially in cold weather or with higher VMP panels. You also do not get a screen, and you will want the optional BT1 Bluetooth dongle to see real-time data or logs. That is an extra accessory not in the box. They say expand to 400W on the Wanderer 30A, true, but with a plot twist. At 12V, 400W into a full lithium at 13.8 to 14.4V is roughly 28 to 30A. On rare cool, bright days you can clip at 30A, not a deal breaker, but know that you are near the ceiling. And because it is PWM, adding more panels in parallel increases current on the roof wire run. Manage voltage drop with thicker cable if you extend beyond the included 10 AWG. Power output. In my tests, peak instantaneous was 196 W, typical flat roof midday was 160 to 170 W, and daily harvest averaged 0.8 kWh in clear early summer. The included 20 FT10 AWG MC4 extension kept voltage drop around 2 to 3% at the usual 10 to 12A array current. If you mount farther from the controller, upgrade cable gauge or shorten the run. Charge controller. The Wanderer Li 30A does 4-stage charging for lead acids and supports lithium profiles that hit proper absorption around 14.4 V and float appropriately. Protections worked as advertised and the unit stayed cool. But here is what nobody tells you: PWM versus MPPT is a quiet tax. Expect 10 to 25% less harvest than an equivalently sized MPPT setup, especially in cold, clear conditions. Also, you get LEDs for status, not a display. If you want stats, history, or remote control, budget for the BT1 module, and add proper fusing, a 20A to 30A fuse between controller and battery and a fuse or breaker from array to controller. Build and install. The panels look and feel solid: clean bus bars, tidy junction boxes with bypass diodes, and pre-drilled frames that line up well with the included Z brackets. TPT backsheet helps with heat dissipation. MC4 connectors are snug and weather resistant. It is truly ready to install, but bring your own butyl tape and lap sealant for roof penetrations, plus stainless hardware if your application needs it. Parallel branch connectors come in the kit and make it plug and play for 12V systems. User sentiment. The Amazon rating hovers around 4.6 for good reason. Most owners praise the easy install and robust panels. The recurring gripes are exactly what I saw: the PWM controller's limited data visibility and the best case marketing around that 1000 WH figure. A few users wanted longer cables. Plan your layout before you drill. Value and alternatives. At 159.99 you are paying about 0.80 per watt, and that includes a controller, brackets, and cables. That is criminally generous for a name brand kit. If you want maximum harvest or plan to expand, start with an MPPT controller like the Renogy Rover 20A or 40A and run the panels in series for higher voltage and lower roof current. Verdict: recommended for beginners and budget builds who understand the trade-offs. If you expect a guaranteed 1 kWh every day, skip this or swap the PWM for an MPPT. If you want a solid, dependable 200W starter that is easy to mount, safe to use, and expandable to a point, this is a strong buy. Pros: solid panel build, simple installation, real protections, lithium capable, excellent price. Cons: PWM harvest penalty, limited controller interface, best case daily output claims. At 159.99 it is great value. If efficiency is your priority, spend more on an MPPT kit or plan to upgrade the controller later. Stay savage out there. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I have put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Got questions about sizing, batteries, or MPPT upgrades? Drop them in the comments. Next up, I am pitting this PWM kit against a 200W MPPT setup to measure the real-world gap. See you there, and keep your power clean and your installs cleaner.